Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. My name is Scott Morris. I am your friendly local game guy at GTS. I've decided to kind of stop using my official moniker because it just sounds so official and long, but I'm the game guy, and we're here to talk about games. Really appreciate all the retailers joining us here live as we're recording this. We're going to be talking with Anthony Boyd from Lucky Duck Games, who is very brilliant and uses the same barber that I use. We're going to be talking about an awesome line of games. Now, if you're not familiar with Lucky Duck Games, I want to kind of put it in a little context. Lucky Duck is one of our fastest growing publishing partners. They have, ever since the release of Chronicles of Crime, which has several different versions of the game that have come out, and some that we're going to talk about today, they have just been on this up and to the right trajectory in terms of both making awesome games and also making games that continuously sell, which is the number one thing that we always want to talk about here. As I always like to remind everybody, everything is on the table, so you're more than welcome to ask any kind of questions you like. If you are here live, all you have to do is hover over your Zoom window, and there's a little chat bubble at the bottom. Anthony, you don't have to worry about messing around with that. I will watch that, and as questions pop up, sometimes they're simple things like how many are in a case, and we'll just answer them in chat. And other times they're really lengthy ones like who is your barber, and we'll kick it over to you and let you answer them. But feel free to type in any kind of questions you have into the chat. You can send those to either all panelists, which are myself and Anthony, or you can send it to all panelists and attendees, which will go to everybody. So all the other retailers that are attending can see your questions. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, which is after and it's not live and we are recorded, you are more than welcome to ask a question below in the comments, and we will get you answers as soon as possible for that. I don't want to steal any of the thunder because there's some really cool stuff we're going to talk about today that I'm excited for. So I will take my face that was made for radio and let it shut up, and I will let Anthony take over as a much slimmer and better looking version of me. So
thank you, and thank you for the compliments. You can send an invoice for that later.
There you go.
So again, hi everybody, I'm Anthony Boyd. I'm the Director of Sales for Lucky Duck Games. As Scott said, we're here to talk about all the exciting things that Lucky Duck is currently doing, things that we're working on, things that are on the way to your store shelves soon. Hopefully you are reminded about something that you've heard about before, or that you hear something new and amazing today. Either way, let's dive right into it. I made us a salesman's PowerPoint, which I'm sure that you've all seen plenty of in your tenure as retailers, but let me kick this off here. Firstly, I really love the opportunity to do things like this, like these webinars, and speak to retailers like yourselves and anybody who might be watching after the fact. Clearly, we haven't been on the road hitting our trade shows and things like that as we're used to. So finding ways to interact with our retail partners and really get the word out there about who we are, what we're doing, what's coming up has been a struggle for absolutely everybody in our industry. And the perseverance that everyone has shown has been incredible. But I'm mentioning this because I would like to say that Lucky Duck right now, internally, we're putting forth a lot of effort to cater to you guys as retailers. We know that we could do a better job. Everybody should know that they can do a better job at being a friendly local game store advocate. So soon we should have some exciting news about some initiatives, some programs that we're going to roll out to be just that for you guys. So stay tuned for that, and really all she wrote where that's concerned for right now. All right, so let me share the old screen. And I'm assuming everybody is looking at my bright orange screen right now. Yeah, you got that, Scott?
Yep, it's coming through perfect.
All right, fantastic. So just to dive right in, Scott mentioned, Chronicles of Crime was kind of our catalyst. It's kind of started our period of great big growth and really put us on the map in the retail environment and the distribution environment, and really changed the way that consumers looked at specific types of tabletop games. So I wanted to take a brief moment to talk about the Chronicles of Crime standalone titles that we've released just recently. Chronicles of Crime 1400, released in the holiday season of last year. It is the first part of the Millennium series. The Millennium series is a series of 3 standalone Chronicles of Crime titles that spans a period of 1,000 years. They're all kind of narratively interconnected. So although you do not have to play them in order, and playing one of them does not require you to have played any of the others. Again, they are completely standalone titles. They are not expansions. You do not have to own any other Chronicles of Crime product to play this, to stock this. It's all independent. Anyways, 1400 is our first entry there. It's Paris in the year 1400. 1900 just launched very recently, so I'm sure a lot of you guys just recently got this on your shelves. That's Paris in the year 1900. We have some new interesting mechanics present in that game via puzzles and things like that. The reception so far for 1900 has been phenomenal. Chronicles of Crime in general is usually very well critically received, but this one, I believe the presentation, the period in which the game takes place, the narrative, as well as that puzzles, all kind of tied things together to make it just a surefire hit. 1400, of course, is amazing. Everybody loves medieval flair in their board games, or at least a large enough percentage of people out there love medieval flair in their board games that we keep making them as an industry. So yeah, those two are well stocked, definitely available. If you have someone who's not interested in the very base Chronicles of Crime, the modern day London forensics, and they want maybe a period piece or something like that, 1400 or 1900 are both fantastic options for that. The price point is very easy for anybody to swallow. Yeah, that's what we have. And
I did just want to pop in and let everybody know. So, as a reminder, the majority of our board games at GTS primarily come out of Washington, Missouri, and Florida for our main three warehouses. Those are our three biggest, and that's usually where they come out of. As Anthony said, 1900 did just come out. We do have a few left in Missouri right now. I think there is a very small handful left in Florida, but Washington is completely out right now. So we are in the process of restocking. We do that regularly with Lucky Duck. So if you are looking at one of your local warehouses and you don't see it there, you should see it in Missouri, and you can be able to get it from Missouri. But these are titles that, you know, as we look at different partners and we look at kind of like the alpha games or the baseline games for them, these are the ones that we want to always keep stocked in those main three warehouses between Washington, Missouri, and Florida. So if you don't see it there, as long as it doesn't specifically call out of stock from the publisher, it's something that we will be restocking and getting back in as well. And then hopefully, depending on where you are, Missouri usually can get to anybody within about 2 days, maybe 3 days at the most. So as long as you're not in the uppermost, you know, Canada / Northeast area of the United States or the most southern west of California, then you should be pretty good with Missouri. But if you do have any questions, definitely let us know. Chris just asked a question about the app, which I think is really cool. He said, has the app been updated to support all of the Millennium game series yet?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Chris, and thank you for that. We are updating the app as each new title hits the market. Sometimes it's a little bit preloaded because these were games that were crowdfunded, so some people already have them in their hands. And you know, to be fair, they might have a couple weeks head start. But 1900 is already live in the app and good to go. Obviously, 1400 is as well. So yeah, we're good. And a fun thing about the Chronicles of Crime app, something that you guys as retailers would enjoy knowing, the fact that these games have an app tied to them allows us to use that app to notify players and fans of the game that a new title is coming out. So on release day, you can betcha that we put an application that goes, or a notification through that application that goes out, so everyone can pick up their phone and say, "Oh, Chronicles of Crime wants to tell me something. Oh, I can go to my friendly local game store and I can pick up the next Chronicles of Crime title." So yeah. But yes, it is live and ready to go. So pushing on here with my presentation, like I said, the Millennium series is a 3-part series. So later this year, we're saying fall, we're kind of targeting September-ish, but the logistics situation worldwide, as I'm sure all of you have heard at this point, especially when it comes to games, is rough. Even things like shipping from state to state in the US is difficult right now. Everything's expensive. So If we see any delays, if we, can't get things out to GTS or something as quickly as we want, or GTS can't get it to you, we're all aware. We're doing our best we can to keep things stocked. The Chronicles of Crime, the entire series is something that is always, always, always stocked on the distribution side. So as Scott was saying, unless you see some specific notification that tells you that it is no longer available in any way, shape, or form, don't be afraid to get your orders in, because it's going to be there as soon as we can get it to them. And we always print large, and we print well in advance. And we try to make sure that it's not dry for any periods of time. We love the game just as much as you guys do. So, but 2400, the next entry coming later this year is going to be a sci-fi cyberpunk futuristic version of Chronicles of Crime that we think is, I should say, I'll just make it my personal opinion, going to be the most exciting entry of the Millennium series, because I love that theme and I love the setting and the things that we're able to do with crime solving when you can kind of take that Blade Runner approach to it all, right? So this one, we're going to have the same price point, same box size, everything like that. And it will be releasing hopefully in September, so that we can have a strong title for you guys to start the holiday season.
And just so everybody knows, this is something that we just found out about last night, but it is already set up in our system. So you can place pre-orders in the system already, whether you want to do that online or whether you want to do that through your rep. So that should be there. You can see the item code there, that LKYCCM R30N, that is all set up and ready to go. I have to say, after looking at your presentation that you sent me last night, I think the really subtle things that you do in the artwork is really, really cool, because it's a little hard to see maybe right here, but there's that kind of screen that she's holding up in her hand. And then just above that screen to the left is a sign for a shop, and it says Ducks Games. And I love that. I think that's cool.
Yeah, we try to have a lot of fun with what we do. We're all gamers at heart inside Lucky Duck. And yeah, if we can ever give a little head nod like that, there's other little things, like some of the virtual scenes that you can look around in the other Chronicles of Crime that have fun things in there as well. But if you haven't dove in yourself, I encourage you to go in there and see if you can pick some of those things out. So next slide. All right. So if there's one thing I want all of you who are watching live right now or watching this after the fact to take away from this presentation, it's what I'm going to talk about with Destinies. So Destinies here is our next release, our next calendar release here. Street dated May 27th. It is on the way to distros right now, so they should be able to turn that around and get them to you guys. Yeah, Destinies. What can I say that doesn't sound like I'm an incredible fanboy here? So Destinies is our next, we use the term hybrid. When we say hybrid board game, a lot of people think we're blending American style games with Euro style games or something like that. So maybe hybrid isn't the best term, but our next integration of tabletop game and app and technology is Destinies. Destinies is a competitive, narrative-driven RPG light experience that's honestly like nothing that's ever been done before. Very unique in what it does, the way it plays, the way it handles everything. We're very, very, very excited about this product. If Chronicles of Crime could show the world that it's okay and it's exciting to have the integration of an app or technology in a tabletop game, then Destinies is going to show the world exactly how exciting having that sort of integration can be. So Destinies is a $50 game. You see all the info there, 14 plus, 1 to 3 player. And it has a little bit of a longer playtime, but it is a, like I said, it's an RPG-like experience. It sort of feels like a competitive role-playing session, but we have the app there to be our DM and kind of control all of that behind the scenes for us. Destinies we're offering returnability or a sales guarantee, however you want to look at it, for the product. That's how much we believe in it. What we're saying when we say, you know, returnability here is just what you see on the screen at the moment. If you are to buy or pre-order 6 or more copies of Destinies from GTS here or your distributor, you're a brick and mortar game store. After 30 days of this being on the market, approximately, I just gave it a whole month of September for the most part, you're able to return a maximum of 12 units. So risk-free, essentially, for Destinies, for you to bring it into your store, give it a try, let your customers see what it is, and then if it doesn't work out for you, great. Lucky Duck and your distributor will work with you for returnability. However, we're very, 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 very confident that if you put this thing in your store and you give it a shot, you're not going to have anything to worry about, and you'll have a new great seller on your hand. So Destinies, we're just now getting consumers that have their hands on it and reviewers that are getting their hands on it, and the initial reception is great, absolutely great. We've seen people have said that this is the best title that we've done to date. We've seen people that say, and you know, hat tip to all of our other friends in Poland, but we've had customers say that it's everything they wanted Tainted Grail to be.
Yep.
So we a lot of high praise for it that we're very, very humbled by. And I'm very, very confident that you guys are going to love this title. It's a great big box full of miniatures and tiles and double layered game boards and dice and amazing things like that. So the value that you have for that $49.99 MSRP is really, really strong. It's a game that when you pick up and you feel the heft of it, you're going to feel like this is, you know, an $80 to $100 game in your hands.
Chris just asked a question that is probably a good thing to address real quick. He said, is this no longer called Time of Legends? And I know a little bit about that, but I'll let you answer that from the Lucky Duck perspective.
Absolutely. Good question, Chris. And again, thank you. Just to speak briefly on that, it is no longer called Time of Legends Destinies. We did license that that universe, that IP, if you will, from the get-go for this title, but there were some legal conflicts in between the license holder and the creator of that particular universe. I won't speak to a lot of the specifics of it, but it has now been separated, and it is now just Destinies. So,
and I will say that when I first saw this game, man, I thought this was $100 game easily. I mean, just from the amount of content that's in the game in terms of the story and the playability. But then you add in the miniatures. I think it's something like over 30 miniatures is what it was. There's a huge, big, giant miniature in there as well. I call it a maxiature, not a miniature. But the fact that you're getting like 30 plus high quality miniatures for $50, like, you can't do that. Like, I don't know anyone who sells miniatures that you can get, 30 of them for $50. They're usually like $4 to $5 a piece. So that alone is a really good deal. But then you add in the fact that this is a lot of replayability. It's kind of unique too, in the fact that it's a 1 to 3 player game. And in this environment that we have been all thrust into with the pandemic, we're constantly getting asked from retailers and from consumers, like, what's the best 1-player game? What's the best 2-player game? I just talked to someone the other day who has a 3-player deduction game, which was mind blowing because you usually think deduction games, you think like 10 people or anything like that. So being able to position a game that is not a, $10 little roll dice or flip cards or anything like that, but actually this like really big narrative, expansive universe type game that plays in a fair amount of time in terms of the content that's in there and the story that's provided, plus gives you replayability for $50. That's a steal on its own. And then you throw in the fact that you're able to have returnability, which completely removes the risk from the retail level. I think that's phenomenal. The one thing I did want to point out, just so retailers know, we've been running this promotion for about maybe 30 days right now with Lucky Duck Games. Some of you may not have heard of it until now, and that's totally cool. The reason I always like to bring it up is we do always run into some stores that may have like 4 copies pre-ordered or 5 copies pre-ordered. And if you bump up by just that 1 or 2 more to 6 copies, then that covers you for your returnability. So if you're already in for like 4 or 5 copies, you're more than likely going to sell a fifth or a sixth copy. Or if the worst case happens, you don't, you have that returnability. So it's a really good opportunity to kind of stock up a little more, especially in a time where, like Anthony said earlier, logistics are just a nightmare right now. It's, the UPS is all over the place, FedEx is all over the place, and it's one of those things that we honestly, truthfully, don't know what tomorrow's going to bring when it comes to the shipping and logistics side of the business. So I think overall, it's just tremendous value for $50.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have another printing already spun up and in the works. Just the initial impressions that we got from
Nice.
our distribution partners and whatnot told us that we should definitely get the ball moving on that. So Destinies looks like it's going to be another here to stay evergreen title for Lucky Duck Games.
Yeah. Emmanuel just asked, he said, are we able to go in now and pre-order, and will we get any copies? Yes, by all means. So go ahead and pre-order. We are, like Anthony said, we're in the process of getting things sent to us. When we do pre-orders like this, just so retailers know, when we collect pre-orders from you guys as retailers, we'll get a number, and just using round numbers, if we get 1,000 pre-orders, we're not ordering 1,000 copies of the game. We're ordering like 1,300, 1,400 copies of the game, because the expectation, of course, is restock, right? And that the game is going to do well. So there's always going to be a little bit of overage. The only time we really ever truthfully run into any kind of allocation issue is if it's a case that the publisher is telling us, hey, we expected 4,000 of these, but we only got 3,200, and we have to, do allocations and things like that. So like we just unfortunately had an issue with somebody not in the board game space, but in another space that the GTS handles, that was supposed to get 2 containers delivered, and they only got 1 container delivered, and the other one got stuck sitting in a port in China. So every once in a while, those things seem to happen with the logistics case. But yeah, definitely put your pre-orders in, and we'll make sure to get everything working for you. Chris just asked, will any of the content from Kickstarter be available through retail at a later date?
Yes, again, thank you for that question, Chris. I'm staring at a pile of Destiny's things that I got. Yes, some of the things, expansions and other content will come out through retail at a later date. We do have plans for this title moving forward. It's not just going to be a drop a core game, never do anything with it again. We want to continue to support it and do things like that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the base game of this, the retail base game, is the exact same base game as if I had kickstarted it, right? It just doesn't have the expansions or anything, the additional content, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some, there's like a play mat and some fancy
Aesthetic things.
Yeah, aesthetic things that your core hobby gamers really enjoy having. But we really try not to make drastic differences in the products if it was a crowdfunded product, from how it is on that platform to how it is released at retail. We know that that causes problems. We know that it upsets people, and honestly it doesn't help us to do that sort of thing. So the version that you're getting via retail is not going to be night and day difference from what you're getting via the Kickstarter.
And Julio just asked, Julio's in Guatemala. He said, is it okay for GTS to sell to Latin America retailers? I know for the most part, I believe we have Lucky Duck set up as just North America sales, and that you guys, because you're based out of Europe and you have so many different options, do you guys have a distributor in Latin America that you prefer people to use, or is that something that you're okay with us selling down to Latin America?
We do have some things, mostly in Latin America. We work with localization, right? So for the Brazilian market and things like that, our titles are usually available there, but localized, so not necessarily English. Julio, if you could, I would encourage you and anyone else watching or listening to this, if you have any questions about, I'm struggling getting your product here, I'm located here, how do I get your stuff? My direct email address is anthony@luckyduckgames.com. You can shoot me an email anytime, and we can try to figure out how we can get you stocked and taken care of. As far as getting the product through GTS or Scott is correct. I am set up with GTS so that they can service the North American market for us. So there are some territorial restrictions that are on paper that might stop us from doing that. but I personally do not want you to feel like you're missing out on a product because of something like that. So no matter what, no matter if it's through GTS or it's me or someone else, we'll get you taken care of. Please feel free to reach out to me, Julio, or anyone else, and we'll make sure that you're all squared away.
Awesome. And I plugged your email into the chat window there too. So if anyone's here, you can grab that from the chat window.
Thank you. All right, so Destinies, it's very, very exciting. In the format that we have here, I'm not going to dive a whole lot into pitching the intricacies of the game and how it plays and things like that. I want you as retailers to know how it sells and why it's going to sell. So hopefully you're able to take away a bit of that information from this. If you haven't already pre-ordered this game, get a hold of your sales rep, let them know that you want to stock it. Let them know that you want at least 6 and you qualify for returnability in that case. So again, May 27th street date coming soon.
One more thing to note about that. You guys as retailers don't have to remember anything special. It's just the base code and it's just ordered times 6. And it doesn't matter if you ordered 3 weeks ago and 3 today or anything like that. Just as long as you order 6 before the release date for it, we'll get you covered and we'll get all the details over to Anthony so he knows who's available for returnability on that.
Cool. Any other incoming questions about Destinies before I move on here?
Nothing yet, but if they do pop in, I will let you know. That cover is gorgeous, by the way, just absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. We love it. A lot of the artwork in the app and on the game components themselves, all the tiles and the map and everything like that is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dark fantasy stuff. Yeah, I'm super pumped for it. Next slide. So, King of 12. King of 12 is something that's been on pre-order. Hopefully it's something that you guys have pre-ordered for your store right now. Going back to those logistics woes that the entire industry is dealing with right now, unfortunately, this one has fallen prey to the logistics monster. It is en route to distributors right now. Yep, we're going to get it to you. So King of 12, amazing, amazing, fast, fun, affordable sort of filler game that feels like you could play it as a regular, this is the focus of family game night game. So we really are happy to have this as part of our catalog. As you see here on the screen, you can play it in 15 minutes, so it's easy to play 4 or 5 of these in a night. It makes for an amazing in-store demo because you can get the entire gist of the game out of literally showing 1 or 2 turns. So you can have a 2 to 3 minute demo presentation at the store, at point of sale, on a demo table if you have them, and quickly show what this game is all about. It does have a really interesting aesthetic to it. It uses D12s. So yeah, the King of 12 thing has a nice tie-in there, and we know that our gamers and our friends all love their dice one way or another. So upsell them some dice from someone else. The only time you'll ever hear me say that, and you're good to go there. King of 12, exciting thing about that is as a retailer, every copy that you order from distribution, every individual copy, not case, just copy, we're going to give you a set of promo cards. So there's 2 different cards, and you're going to have 1 for each player. So it'll be a set of 8 cards for each copy of the game that you order that are completely free for you to give away, to incentivize purchase in your store, anything like that, just while supplies last. So we have plenty of them to match up with what's already on pre-order, but we don't know when or if we're ever going to reprint those promo cards. So if you are interested in getting that along with your copies of King of 12, please don't hesitate to let your sales rep know you'd like some in your store, and we'll make sure that's squared away for you.
Yeah, really nice thing about the promo cards. About midway through last year, GTS changed ERP systems. And one of the things that we're able to do now is when a publisher has a promo item that is separate from the actual physical item that's being sold, all we have to do is create a separate SKU for that item. And then we create a parent and child relationship. So if someone orders King of 12, it will automatically add that extra SKU onto it. Usually with things like this, where it's while supplies last, it will do that until we run out of those things. So you don't have to remember any other SKUs. You don't have to remember, hey, ask my rep for it. The nice thing about that is your rep doesn't even have to remember it. So all you have to do is pre-order the game. That child SKU of the promos gets added onto it and then gets shipped with you. And the nice thing additional is that when you get your invoice, you'll see a line item that'll have the SKU for the King of 12 and then a SKU for the King of 12 promo item. So you know that they kind of go hand in hand with each other. So we're trying, that's just kind of a small background things that we're trying to make it a little easier for everyone to both manage these and then receive them as well, and use them as best as possible in store.
Absolutely. All right. Clicking on. An upcoming title we have here, Tranquility. Tranquility is something that, again, the logistics monster. We've solicited this a while back. We were anticipating a May release. However, that's just not possible for us. So right now, it looks like we're on track for hopefully July. Tranquility is an amazing, amazing title that I'm such a big fan of. It is a cooperative card game. Your goal in Tranquility is to lay cards as a group in ascending order to go from your start point on a grid on a table all the way to your end point. But if at any point during the game, any player cannot take an action or runs out of cards, you've lost the game. The kicker with Tranquility here is that you must play it in silence. So similar to a game like The Mind, this is played completely silently outside of your grunts of frustration or sighs or whatever when someone plays down a card that's not going to help the group. You cannot talk about your plays in Tranquility. It is honestly the title of the game, in my opinion, really lends to the feeling of Tranquility as you're playing it. It is just a peaceful, nice, let's see if we can puzzle this out together experience. The 20-minute playtime, again, makes it so that if you do fail, and it's one of those games that's not super easy to pull off a win in. If you do fail one, you reset it and you go again. It does look great laid out on a table, so it looks great on display in a store. Pretty simple to demo. Yeah, we are, because of the delay, unfortunately, we're given a little bit of extra time to really make sure that this is a solid offering for you guys as retailers. So we're working on currently, I can tell you, a display for the game that's going to fit in. We're probably looking at 12 units in the display is our current thought right now. Might end up with 6 in it. We're still zeroing in on what our possibility is there, but it comes in just a little box, a few inches by a few inches with little square cards. So we want to make sure that that has a good presence on your shelf, and it's not just something that's going to get tossed around behind, a great big Lacerda game and forgotten about or something like that. So Tranquility, we're very excited about. It has a great reception where it has seen life in the world, and we're excited to be bringing that to English markets all around the world.
There was a quick question that just came in about the release date for King of 12. I know it was originally in April and then it was pushed out. We have in our system, we have it as a release upon receipt timeframe. Did you guys, I don't think you guys actually put a hard date to it because of logistics challenges. Is that right?
Yeah, because of the recent snags that we had, we did delay it a couple of weeks initially, and we gave people like Scott here a hard date, and then it feels like, in my tenure at Lucky Duck, the longest hold in customs any product that we've ever had has experienced. So it was just like, wow, it should be out by now. It should be out by now. It should be out by now. And so yeah, it was just to the point to where it's release on receipt at this point. As soon as your distributor gets them, they'll be turning them around. So no hard street date at this point in time.
Perfect. And then Chris asked a question. He said, any chance the expansions are going to be sold separately? I'm presuming that may have been a question back from Destinies, but because I don't know of any expansions for King of 12 yet. But Chris, if I'm thinking wrong on that, let me know. And then Derek said, for what it's worth, I love the idea of a display for Tranquility, but for our shop, a 6-piece would work better. So that's just good feedback, probably. Oh, Christopher
Yep.
says for Tranquility. He's asking about the expansions for Tranquility.
Okay, so I'm so happy that you're so familiar with products as they exist before they come to a retail market, Chris, because you
Chris
can
is plugged in. He's really plugged in.
so Tranquility with that gosh, I feel like I should know the name of that expansion. Sorry, it's leaving my brain right now. Our version's gonna have that packed in. So there you go.
Cool.
As far as future Tranquility stuff, since you're so tapped in, stay tuned. So there we go. All right. So that's Tranquility.
Chris, you're not being annoying. No, Chris said, sorry if I'm being annoying. You are not being annoying. Trust me. No one is ever going to complain about a retailer who is informed and asking questions ever. And if they do, you should question your partnership with them.
Yeah. Thank you for the questions, actually. If anything, it would be annoying if I had to just act like I had something to talk about for all this time. All right. So at Gamma, what you're seeing on the screen here is something that we kind of showed off to the world and announced. And I want to bring it up here as well, bring it up every chance that we got. Lucky Duck Games has been, what you guys have grown to know and hope you love. We're launching a kids line later this year. Here's our logo. I was super, super, super excited about it as a parent, as somebody who loves board games for the fact that they can be a learning device or a device that brings families together. We're very, very passionate about catering to that audience as well. So we are launching a Lucky Duck Kids line that will still be purchasable through all of your major distributors and everything like that. So we're super, super, super pumped to show off a little bit about this. One of the titles that I can tell you will be the first coming out for the Lucky Duck Kids brand will be a Chronicles of Crime-esque game that we're calling Kids Chronicles. That will be a Chronicles type experience that you can play with children and families age 7 and up. So we're kind of looking at reading age children that can enjoy diving into this universe. And this is actually the first time during any sort of public, outing in North America that I'm able to show what I'm about to show, which is the current work in progress box for that particular title. So without any further ado here, this is kind of what we're looking at with Kids Chronicles here. Quest for the Moonstones. So we're going to go on a magical adventure and solve mysteries together and, do fun and amazing things like that. The cool thing about these Kids Chronicles titles is that we don't just want them to be things that your kids are going to play. We want them to be things that you can play them with kids. We want them to be things that adults can play just because they love that sort of Chronicles experience that we've created and brought to the world. So keep an eye out for that. It hasn't been solicited yet, so you cannot pre-order. I apologize. I am just hyping and teasing you all, but feel free to call your sales rep, get a hold of your distributor, tell them that you definitely want it, because it will result in them coming to me and barking at me more and more, and we'll make sure that it's as big of a thing as we all want it to be. So
I was going to say, yeah, this is definitely something we'll be carrying as soon as it's available to be pre-ordered and set up. That looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, the goal is to have this out this year, hopefully a holiday release. So we'll have, hopefully a great Christmas gift for your children.
And I love the subtle change in the logo. That's really very smart and very cool.
Thanks. We like it.
It keeps it aligned so that the people that play your games and know your games see that and connect and go, oh, that's the people that make 1900 or 2400 or anything like that, right? And it just kind of lines in. So that's really cool.
Absolutely, yeah. And we want to make sure that the art speaks to, every audience. The audience that pulls the money out of their pocket to buy it for their child, and the child that sees it on the shelf and wants mommy or daddy to pick it up for them. So presentation has really been a focus on what we're doing with that logo, the overall look of the packaging and things like that. So, yeah.
Derek just asked, do you know if they're what the SRP may be? I'm presuming 119.99, something around that.
Yeah, probably. We're looking at about 120 to 150 minimum order of 6. You must order in cases as a retailer.
Got
No,
it.
especially for a kids and families title, we do not want to exceed the $30 mark. So this is not set in stone at this point in time, but expect between $20 and $30 US for a title like this.
Nice.
If we can ever give it to you a little bit cheaper, we definitely will. We do have another title that I'm not going to mention here, but just so you know, there will be at least two Lucky Duck Kids titles released by the end of this year is our goal.
Nice.
Both of them also affordable, and both of them using that thing that we're known for, which is integrating technology with a board game.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, the owner of Lucky Duck, Vince, has a very, very strong background in app development and software development. So it makes sense that they kind of meld those two worlds together, which is really cool.
Yeah. Any other questions coming in here?
Derek just said that's awesome pricing. So yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, the Chronicles games are that $29.99 price point, keeping, around there as close to there as possible is really good. And, definitely when retailers are positioning kids games, that's actually a really, if you can make it $20, then you're talking like a $50 package between a person buying a regular Chronicles and the kids Chronicles at the same time, which is a really easy sell for people, I'm sure. So that's very, very good stuff.
But when he said it was an excellent price, he meant the $129.99. So
right. Yeah. From everything I know about Derek and his store, I'm sure he would love $129.99 kid game. I'm just kidding. So that's funny. It wouldn't surprise me though if somebody does try to come out with something like that. Derek says exactly. Yes. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Never know. We'll see.
Yep. Cool. Well, I want to thank you, Anthony, for taking the time to come and talk about this. The Destinies opportunity is a great opportunity. Right now, in such a crazy, chaotic business sense that we're in with COVID, being able to remove any kind of risk is important. And I know I have no problem talking about this publicly. Whenever I talk to retailers and I ask them, what will help you buy more games and stock more games and sell more games, the number one thing they always say is reduce or remove my risk. Like find a way that, extend my terms or give me better pricing or give me an option to return or anything like that. Those are things that can really help. And when you back that behind a really great game, like that makes it even easier. So that's really, really awesome to see. And again, just as a reminder, if you joined a little bit late, Lucky Duck is one of our fastest growing publishers. And we work with hundreds of publishers, like literally hundreds of publishers. And they have just been up and to the right ever since the original Chronicles of Crime launched. And it's been really, really exciting to see. It's been fun to watch them grow and us help them, kind of be part of that. But if you do have any questions, Anthony put his email in earlier and I put it in the chat, but just as a reminder, you can contact Anthony at luckyduckgames.com. You're also always welcome to reach out to me. My email is smorris@gtsdistribution.com. And just want to thank all the retailers as well for taking the time to come in and join us. I know this year has been a little chaotic in terms of the webinar timings. We've had a lot of schedules changes and reshuffles and things like that, but really do appreciate everybody sticking with us and taking the time. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube and it's already recorded, feel free to leave a question below in the comments. We'll be able to get you an answer and get any kind of info back to you. Just so everybody knows, so we have a timestamp, we are recording it on May 12th of 2021. So if you're watching this on May 12th of 2031, I'm sorry, we might be out of stock of one or two of these, but we'll find a way to make sure to get everything back in order. So with that though, Anthony, thanks so much, man. I really do appreciate you joining and taking the time to talk to the retailers.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity, and thank you to everyone that showed up to watch live, everyone that shows up to watch it after the fact on YouTube or wherever you happen to see this. Like Scott said, if you have any questions for me at Lucky Duck Games, I'm happy to answer them for you. It's anthony@luckyduckgames.com. Or our distributors are very knowledgeable about our products and how you can get your hands on them. So feel free to reach out to your GTS sales rep if you have any questions there.
And Sean Wainwright just ended in one of the best ways I could ever imagine. He just said, "It's great to see both your beautiful faces." So now we know he's lying. So
he lies all the time. It's the worst.
Right. No, that's awesome. Well, Sean, it's always good to see you or hear you. So appreciate you joining in. If anyone does have any questions, like I said, feel free to reach out to Anthony, reach out to myself. But otherwise, thanks for joining. Have a great week in your stores, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.